Padres fans, we got to talk about what Michael King said as he returns to the Padres rotation and Petco Park. It was awesome to see him back in action, and it's awesome to hear what he has to say about this season and this postseason. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. If you want to leave a comment on anything this video related, that's great. If you want to see something else, drop a comment. Also, as always, if you want to hit the subscribe button, it would be fantastically appreciated. But if not, no worries. I want to talk about Michael King returning to the San Diego Padres and looking pretty good. We don't need to dive too deeply into the post-game reaction. Andrew did that, but I want to talk about specifically this quote that came out in his latest article, or in Kevin Acey's latest article, the interview that he gave with King. The TLDR of it is he acknowledges that he has not played nearly enough this season and talks about his aspirations are still, hey, look, I can contribute. I can balance that all out. I can wipe the slate clean. I can make it even if I can pitch well in the playoffs. And our expectations are the World Series. And that is fantastic. And I love that. And you want that from every player to be like, yeah, man, this is where the bar is. The bar is at world champions. But you don't always get that said publicly and said concisely by guys in perceived leadership positions. And I would argue that even with limited scope of what he's really done this year, appearances-wise, that Michael King is still maybe not the ace, but an ace. Like he's not some journey. Is not Jason Marquis coming back saying, "Oh man, we're gonna win a World Series," and that's a very niche Padres reference. If you weren't around for that era, it's all good. I'm old, as Andrew reminds me, I'm getting older. I am the elder statesman apparently of this group, but it's not that. This is a guy that the last night numbers. I will remind you of all those because maybe those are more important to talk about than the overall how he's done this season, given that it's been a small sample size. But 5 innings, a couple runs, a walk, some strikeouts. The guy looked good. Guy didn't look necessarily elite, but he looked good. So I still classify him in that potential ace category. An ace, maybe not the ace, but an ace for us. So somebody that is in that sort of a leadership perceived position coming out and saying, hey, look, the goal that the team has is the World Series, but my goal personally is to really shove it here in October, really pitch well and make up for not being here and being able to deliver a ton. I like that. I like where the Padres are at still, and I know that we lose last night to Cincinnati in a way that hurts, but Nando has a big moment, and Michael King's pitching well, and it felt like to me if that was a playoff series and we lose that game, I don't walk away from that game going, oh man, we're going to lose this series, and I think that that's important given that as we play this game every time now that I come on here for a podcast between now and the end of the season, we go look at where would we be if the playoffs started tomorrow. Padres maintain the exact same spot, like the new graphic, though, courtesy of Major League Baseball, that they are the 5 seed taking on Chicago. So I don't know how much you want to or don't want to still scoreboard watch and be like, oh, we can still take the NL West and leapfrog here or there. Most likely, let's just consider this a playoff team versus any one specific scenario there, because the NL West is still close. It is here we are as of recording right now. It is 2 back of the Dodgers. So things could still change in the last couple weeks. But let's talk about just as a 5 seed on the road taking on the Cubs. Do we think that the rotation has what it takes? Is Pivetta, King, Cease, Darvish, Vasquez enough to win that series? We can dive deeper into this, and if you want to debate, I think it's fun at this point to debate what that rotation is. If Michael King is 85+% back, because you can't do full evaluation off of one appearance. You need at least a 2-game sample size there. So give us one more game of Michael King to see where he's at. But like, assuming that he is 85+%, like he's himself. He's maybe not his best self, but he's himself. Is he the one? Is Pivetta the one? Pivetta's having a career year. Pivetta's doing awesome. Pivetta is kicking butt and knocking heads, taking names, is looking like a legitimate major league, like top of the rotation guy. We 1-2 there. Who do you have at the 3-4? Cease or Darvish? Do you go 4-game rotation or 4-game rotation? Apologies. Do you go 4-team rotation through the rest of that playoffs? There's a couple of different sub debates, I suppose. There's the main debate of, is Michael King back? What does that look like? And what, is his saying that the World Series is the goal even feasible and realistic? And I think it is, because we can still debate the degree to which the loss of Xander is going to hurt the team. But here is a lineup that is pretty darn good. Iglesias, definitely on point defensively. He might be a weak spot. He might be the weak spot. You could say something like, hey, Shildt, go back to the Cronenworth at second, all right? Like maybe there are 1 or 2 tweaks situationally day to day on that, but given that's a general snapshot of where our offense is coinciding with where our pitching now is, I am not despondent. I'm not apoplectic. I'm not anything. I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, we're toast. Even with us losing some of these games recently, that it's like, it's not great. I look at this and I go, okay. Really win, like it is win or go home. Like you no longer need to sustain, hey, bullpen usage rates and how quick of a leash and this, that. Like you just need to, you shoot to kill. You're there to, like there is no tomorrow. I think you can go shorter leashes on some of these guys and get decent appearances out of Cease and Darvish. And then we're kind of in it. And I can still wrap my brain around sitting where we are at in this season with all of this and not having this quote from Michael King wind up being something that's like outlandish, but have it instead land as something that's being like, okay, dope. He's back. He's feeling good. He's cleared. We've got a dude. And that causes enough trickle down where it's like, if King and Pivetta both win their games, we're in control on some series. I don't know. I think that I'm trying. I know I made a conscious effort to be less negative in the second half of this season, but I'm also trying to be realistic that like a lot of other teams in the National League are not looking all that good right now, and maybe that means that baseball's baseballing, and in aggregate, the Giants are going to end up winning the World Series because they're getting hot at the right. Who knows? Maybe it means that, but I think it also maybe just means that right now the Padres aren't the only ones out there struggling, and that once we get to the playoffs, maybe we're going to be on a little bit more level of a playing field than we thought. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment, hit the subscribe button, share, do whatever you want to do. If not, talk to you guys next time.